Hey everyone, welcome back to All the Mods 9. I'm going to leave this be for now. I'm starting to dig out an area down below here, but just really quickly, in terms of blood magic, wherever there it is. I've done a couple more of these quests here, and I haven't got up to the Greater Tartaric Gem yet because that requires the crystals, and I have to set that system up. It's been a while since I've done that. So in case of this, I've done a charging rune. I've done rune of augmented capacity. I've done acceleration rune. It's just crafting recipes pretty much. They're all here. Charging, acceleration, augmented capacity. So yeah, I just knocked them over in between episodes. And I've got this thing set up so that it will... let me just drop down here. There is a redstone output on the bottom here. So on the down, I have a redstone card which outputs a green signal. And then on the east, we have an item card, and it's reading, as long as it has all of these items, and it's got 6 demonic slates, it will turn off, well, it will turn on the green signal, which will turn off the ritual. I should probably make this 8, to be honest. Yeah, because it should run a little bit longer. We've got 9 in there at the moment, and it'll stay off. So it puts a redstone signal into the ritual stone to stop the ritual happening and damaging all these people up here. I can turn this off. I may end up changing it so that this also turns this off somehow. But I'll work through that when I get a second. That's fine. If I go and take a slate out of there, it will start the process back up and things will start filling the altar back up. So mostly automated, and I do need to make a bunch of stuff before I can get to tier 5, which includes the going to this thing and making, what's it called? Let's just look in the book, it's quicker. The pathway to the endless realm. And if you look at, let's just quickly find that pathway, the endless realm, it's going to require 69 runes. So I don't have the 69 runes at the moment, so I'm just leaving that for now. What I am doing at the moment is digging out a new area down here. It needs to be slightly bigger, I'd say. And I want to start doing a create and potentially drop back over here. We're going to do create and maybe even... What was it? There was another... Not pneumaticraft, not railcraft. I mean, pneumaticraft could probably come down here as well. Let's go back to here. Probably here, probably immersive engineering, just a small amount of immersive engineering so we can get up to the railgun, because that's required for going to this here. So create's obviously required to make the star overall, which is this line here. We need 55 mechanical crafters. So that needs to be set up as well, which is why we... you can power this with large water wheels. Well, I'll probably power it with power. But yeah, we need to get through a bit of the create quest line to get up to mechanical crafters and mechanical arms, etc. So I want to just dig through this a little bit, and I figured an area down here would be nice. This episode isn't going to be this, though. I still need to dig this out. I'm a little bit tired of having to find a crafting grid all the time, so it's time to set up some wireless crafting. Or at least the ability to access wireless. Like, I've got enough cables, I've got a crafting grid, I could just run a cable down like I have here, and I may end up doing that at some point, but right now, I figure we'll do some wireless crafting. Now, there may be a piece for it in refined storage. Yeah, we've got wireless grids and stuff over here, so we need to make the access, which is this little transmitter, which shouldn't be too difficult for us at this stage. So if I just go at refined, not that one, that one. I want to make one. I'm going to need to do a control click. Make those items. Still making the last one. Yep. So there's the wireless transmitter. Ooh. Now, we're going to need a couple of other bits and pieces. Obviously, we need to be able to connect to it wirelessly. Now, what I'm wondering, is there a boosted wireless in this one? Okay, we've got range cards and stuff here. Okay. So we want to make a wireless grid, a wireless crafting grid, and a wireless fluid grid. If we make the wireless grid, that's a normal grid. I've got the crafting grid on me, actually. That's crafting monitor. Is there no wireless? No, it's a crafting monitor. Is there no wireless crafting grid? That's interesting. Anyway, I'll need to make another grid. It's neither here nor there. That's most of that's craftable. There we go. There's a grid. There's a wireless grid. Ooh. Let's just claim this. We're going to get something. Nice. Here's the wireless crafting grid. Look, it's right here. I can do that. Because I'm not a fan of just grids. I want a crafting grid. That was a quest, apparently. Oh yeah, that's right. It wasn't the monitor one, it was the grid. Alright, and then the fluid one. Do we do the fluid grid? Wireless fluid grid. Shouldn't take me too much to do. Make another grid. So, and then into a fluid grid like this. Other ways. There's the fluid grid, and then let's do. Okay, there's the wireless fluid grid. Nice. Okay, so we're obviously going to need to be able to get to these items, and making a range upgrade. Okay. Increase the range of your wireless connection to your system. You'll need range upgrades. Yes, we will. Wireless transmitter can only hold 4 in total. And then there's one on the house. So we need to make one of these guys. Do I have the range upgrade? Mostly, yes. Okay, so there's a range upgrade. What's the center of the base? It's silly, but let's just put the antenna here. So we can transmit 16 blocks. So at the moment, I need to take my wireless crafting grid. I actually need to go upstairs, I'm pretty sure. And shift right click on that. Out of energy. I thought it would charge up in my hotbar. Why are you not charging my hotbar? Hello? Fox network? Bar should be charging. It should be. Oh, it is charged down. There you go. But it's not doing the main inventory, but it will do a curio slot, which is, as you can see there. So if I have a. I'm not in range. I'm now in range. Right, so 16 blocks isn't very far. If we put the upgrade in here, it gets us to 24. So it's only adding an extra 8 blocks. We get the one from the quest. Obviously, that'll get us to 32 blocks, but still 32 isn't very far. Obviously, as you put these in, it will use more power. But let's look at the next quest, which is the Infinity Range Booster. Only works in the same dimension. That's okay. So let's see if we can make this guy. Unobtainium, we've got a couple of range upgrades. I need to make one more, and then some Endarium plate. Got some Endarium. We should be able to do this. Let's see what we can do for the wherever it is. They're not there. If I type the word range. Star. It's a RS Infinity Booster, so let's just do RS. Okay. We've got the range booster here, so I'm going to need to make another one of these guys. Can you make me one of them, please? Thank you. Cool. So that's our third range upgrade. I just need some Endarium plate. Endarium plate. I'm going to press or just manual craft, right? Okay, so there's our Infinity Range Booster. Let's really quickly check the power draw of this, because what I might need to do is change how we're connected to power. I mean, we've got the flux point here. That should keep us going into the capacitor bank. But we are currently using a total of 719 Forge Energy a tick. If I put this in here, we are using 4,719 Forge Energy a tick. This thing is pulling 4,000. So yeah, we're almost 5,000 a tick. Does that mean, are you capable of keeping that? Probably. I think we're good. We're okay. We can keep up with this. This will just be running a lot more, and I should have plenty of uranium. I don't think it's not a problem on power. Uranium, we got a bit. It's uraninite. Block of raw uranium. That should be processing. Are you not processing? Or you're just putting raw uranium through? Can we do block? Yep, and I'll do a recipe for that. I've just been having it so that it's just a lot easier to do it that way. Uranium. To me all the time. Might as well do that. All right, cool. Okay, so we now have the ability to access our stuff anywhere. Let me put these things over the way. The wireless grid, I'll just pop there and charge up. The wireless, I don't need them, right? The fluid, I might keep the fluid one on me, but I don't need the regular wireless grid. That can drop in a chest there. But these are curios, so what we can do is we can work out a control for it, a keybind. If I say wireless, open wireless crafting grid, Control and G. Wireless universal grid. I like that idea. Can we make the universal? Universal. Hello? Fluid, wireless grid. Oh, we can make this. I have that back. Let us make this guy. Grid. Fluid. Boom. Okay. Now we can access it. We can switch between for fluids and for crafting. So that's normal grid. This is the crafting grid, which is where I'll leave it most of the time. And then, we can obviously access all of our items from anywhere. If I go at universal, is that all it's got? I don't know what these are for. Sure, there'll be a reason for them. But we're going to need one of these for the next emitter anyway, so we will need to make another one of these at some point. Blacksmith can apparently make them. or unobtainium. Oof. And all the other. No thanks. All right. So we now have wireless access to everywhere where our. Not interdimensionally, though, so, right? So this is the infinity range booster. Cool. We're good there. If we want to do the dimension one, I need 4 of them. The nether stars are easy. Eye Ended's easy. I need to make, 3 more of these guys, and then we'll be able to access it anywhere. I don't know what it does for power. I don't know how much more power that will use. But most of the building I do is here. I will, you know what, look, I will make that soon. But obviously I can now come down here and get anything I want out of here. So in the case of this, I was doing this. I probably don't need the ender bag so much at the moment. So I can do control and G. So what I need to do is, if I want to add it to the queue, you know what? It's fine. I'll just leave it there. I could add it to the curio menu, but I'm not going to. So yeah, if I want to get some more items now, I just hit the button and I've got access to my whole network materials. Super simple. Just took some crafting, obviously, and quite a few materials, but makes it easier for when I want to do something like what I'm doing down here, which is dig out a whole new area. In between episodes, I have just been mucking around a little in, where is it? Over in the Piglin Village one. I set up one of these quarries, these things here, Quarry Plus with a hardened gate on it. And I'm just mucking around. I just figured, why not? Let's just see what it can do. Struggling a bit. Struggling a lot. Are you out of power? Maybe we can't transfer that much power now. You have power? No, you're out of power. Oh, okay. Probably just drained a bunch of power. I'll need to check on power now, because obviously if we're drawing so much over here, it's going to be a problem. I can't get into where I need to. And the Quarry Plus doesn't pick up these bricks, but I just thought it'd be funny to have one running in the other, dumping items into my network, because it's also going to pick up blocks of raw ore from in here. There's plenty of them around it. Again, I did this just for giggles, to see what it would do to the building here, and it's not going to do what I need it to. Alright, let's go and check on our power, because the last thing I want to do is run out of power. You're okay, but are you just not transferring it? Oh, you know what it'll be. Oh, you can do 32,000 a tick, but why? Oh, there we go, okay. Do I need to switch between them? That one's empty. This, I don't know. But it's having fun. Just means it's going to run more. But we're okay. I've got 2 more if I need to run more. And we do need to get more cyanite. That was one of the next things in that quest line. So I do have some cyanite now. Got 8. I'm just going to pop them in here. But that is in the reactor one. That is one of the quest lines. Yep. Then we need to go through and do reprocessing of our cyanite into different materials so that we can get some of these bigger ones and get all the way up to the insanite or insanite, or however you want to say it, into those blocks. So we will need to make a reprocessor. So I'll probably make these. Again, these are going to take a lot of cyanite, and which means I need to run this a lot more, produce more waste. So using more power is going to help. Running different quarries and things in the background is helping as well, and that's getting some material in. My my material has like dropped right off. I probably need to check on some of the other quarries actually. Let me just pop out here. Is this finished or something? Not enough power? I mean, it's working slowly. Not getting much at all though. I could probably boost this one's power. I don't want to get to a point where I'm using way too much though. All right, bear with me. I'm going to put a cut in. Hopefully I won't lose this bit of footage like the end of the last episode. Apologies for that. These things do happen occasionally. It was only like a minute of me saying thanks very much for watching and etc. etc. But I will. You're not keeping up, bro. Why are you not? Hello? Or is it trying to take this out? Potatoes. That was a problem. Just like drawing the power. Are you making power? You are making power, but not pushing it here. Hello, you should be sharing your power. You do this. Okay. Yep. This has no power. Goodness me. All right, I'm going to put this cut in. I'll fix this up. Back in a tick. Alrighty. Now that's fixed and the quarry is running faster again. We're getting more materials coming in, which is good. It was just a sided issue. It wouldn't let potatoes in, and then I've added a bit of extra power to make sure it's okay, and I've upgraded it to a crushing factory so that it should stay on top of everything. It'll take a little bit for old mate here to catch up, probably, and worst case, I drop another one of these farmers up here to keep this thing running, but I think it'll backlog pretty soon. This is now full. This one should be full, in reasonably short amount of time, and then everything will be great. All right, so things are comfortable here back at base. It's night time. Let's sleep through the night. The colony's going well as it should. Things are getting built. The occasional item needs to be added to a crafting building of some sort, but otherwise things are slowly upgrading to level 4. Now that we've got this builder as a 4, that one at the back there is becoming a 4 at the moment, and then I'll work on the other 2. That one's queued up for a level 4, and so is that one. Again, things are slowly making their way through. I still have to come down and like pull people back to the building to actually get them to craft. Sometimes it's a little bit buggy in that respect, but overall the village is looking after itself. I was AFK the other day and they dealt with their own raid without any input from myself. All right, I haven't done any more down in the basement, but I do want to start at least with a bit of create here. This will be the main ingredient for most of the mods, items, and blocks. Is the wrench. We're going to get a tick and we're going to get a wrench. Great, it is an immersive tech mod, bringing realism into Minecraft on a whole new level. If you have doubts about any blocks or items, hold W to ponder. Yeah, that's a great little feature. Alright, so we're going to need quite a few things. I don't know too much about the schematic cannon. I haven't done too much in the way of create. I've done some basic stuff in previous series. but we should be able to do all the stuff here. Andesite alloy, we should be okay with. I may end up just making a crafting recipe to make this stuff automatically, because we're going to need a little bit of it, right? So let's do that because, oh, wrench in my hand. I don't need to wrench the thing here. If I say I want andesite alloy 1, because we've got the crafting recipe to make andesite out of our seed outputs, so our the essences. So if I craft this pattern, pop him in here, and then I want some andesite alloy. I've got 1. I'll complete the quest. It's 64. We need some iron nuggets. Let's set up a recipe for iron nuggets. Get rid of that. Cool. There you go. Try that again. Another 64 of them, please. And it should craft with fairly decent haste. Nice. Quest was for 32. I've got 64. It's going to give us some andesite. And then we got all of these things to make. Schematic table. That looks doable. If I go at create. Schematic table. I have one of them. That's schematic cannon. I can make one of them too. And again, as I said, I don't know too much about it. Shoots block to recreate a deployed schematic in the world. Uses items from adjacent inventories and gunpowder as fuel. Writes save schematics onto an empty schematic. Okay, so that allows us to like place something down and then use it to copy buildings or to share them with others. Fair enough. Something I've never done. So engineer's goggles, we'll need some of them. Water wheels. But there is a... I've obviously used the rope pulley in the nether to get the lava pushed across, because that's a bit of a bug, that one. That was a bit of fun stuff to be able to use the rope pulley and as a pump, etc. Or the pump, I should say, to do this and get kind of unlimited lava. I've got too much junk. Too much junk. Put some of this away. You know what, let's jump down here, and as I said, this is where we're going to set things up. So let's just put the schematic table down. I don't really need to place the cannon, but I'll just pop him there for the moment. And then obviously you can put your schematic in here. So that's okay. We can just pop him away. Right. So again, I need to get through and make some water wheels. I will most likely do an electric motor here somewhere. Push towards getting the electric motor so that I can just run it off power. It's not late game, but it's later game. Stuff. Gear shifts, and there's a creative motor. Pretty sure there's an electric one. We'll work through the quest line. So yeah, I'm gonna push out a couple of these items because hello, alternator, electric motor. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Hello, hold W. Okay, so this is converting. Okay, I want the other one, the alternator. Okay, no, it is the other one, the electric motor. So we just use electricity to produce rotational force. I do need to get a setup going so that I can make this. So that's what I mean. It's a little bit further along. You need to get some basics done in order to do this. But I'm going to prep them between episodes. I don't want to sit there and spend all day crafting items. So I will go and make a good handful of the tools and bits and pieces that we're going to need to set up a basic little system to get all the things we need. There's going to be some plates and there's going to be some, these casings all require. You can see here we can set up a little system that'll put the logs, turn them into casings. We can do it with a. I might set up little chains for each of these, because that's obviously the only way we can do this in this pack. It's just literally either manually or with the deployer. So I'll set up a little system for this, and then I'll set up a system, again, just some belts to be able to do. We got andesite, then we got brass. Brass is the same way. Brass casing. And then what's the next one is the copper casing. Again, just a log, copper ingot. So we've got these different ways of getting these different casings, and I can set up a little channel for each one and keep the deployer full of brass, keep the deployer full of copper, etc. But I'll prep that up in between. I'll get a bit more space down here, and we will go from there. But for now, I think I'm at the wrapping up point. I'm going to end it here, and I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Comments down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.